Leroy Sanchez hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here, bro.
Hello.
So we were talking before we got on camera on the mics that Madeline Bailey is going to be hanging out with us later on.
Yes, she is.
And you know her.
I do.
Because you guys did cover together. Which one was it?
Yeah, we've done a couple covers now. We did In the Name of Love.
Okay.
And then we did Crazy.
How did you two initially link up?
Twitter. That's how we linked
Really?
up. Yeah.
Who DM'd who?
I think it was her.
Oh, okay.
I believe. Yeah. And we kind of just linked up and we followed each other because we saw each other on YouTube. And it was like, hey, you want to collab? Yeah, let's do it.
Does that stuff happen a lot? Is that how it happens organically like that?
Yeah, usually, I mean, at least for me, Twitter is like the easiest and fastest way to connect with other YouTubers.
Yeah.
And usually that's kind of how it goes. Like a YouTuber will reach out and be like, hey, you want to collab? I love your stuff. And then that's kind of how it happens.
So is there anyone you want to call out right now where your DM is sitting in their inbox and they haven't gotten back to you? Now, this is the platform to do it, Leroy. You fill me in.
I don't know. I mean, I love collabing with other people and stuff, and I do have some people in mind, but as in right now, I can tell you one because I'm like really focusing on putting a few videos on my own now.
Okay.
But yeah, everybody keep your DMs on the how do you say, like, ready.
So you're just gonna tease me like that? You're not gonna actually tell me who the person is? That is the worst, dude.
Surprise.
Outside of the YouTubers, is there somebody you've been trying to or would really like to collaborate with just in the music world?
Oh, there's so many people I would love to collab. I mean, as far as songwriting, I would love to. I mean, even to just see him writing in the studio would be Ryan Taylor.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I know. Like,
I feel like right now he's working with everyone though. Camila Cabello, Liam from One Direction. I feel like he is one of those guys that just appreciates music so much he's willing to work with everybody, man. So I mean, I think you should ping him, dude.
I mean, hey, if you're listening, Ryan Taylor, Leroy Sanchez would love to even just sit in the studio and see you work. That'd be more than enough for me.
He's brilliant.
I know.
You were recently in the studio with Tinashe. I saw that.
Yes.
Dude, that had to be intimidating. You have an artist in the studio with you, basically watching you do your own rendition of her song. Were you nervous?
A little bit. Yeah. It's nerve-wracking to have the artist that wrote the song, be there and listening to your version. It's like when you're on YouTube and you do it on your own, you don't have that pressure,
Right.
But when you're in that spot, it's a little nerve-wracking. But
you're like, is she gonna like it?
Well, she reacted great to it, so I was like, great.
Yeah.
It made it feel way better.
Do you know of any other famous people, fellow artists that have heard a cover you've done of their song?
Yeah, I know James Morrison has. I think Demi Lovato one time did too, because it was like a random, super short clip on Twitter, but she liked it or something like that. Jessie J.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore, but it's like random, and all through Twitter, that's kind of how you find out, because they always they'll send a little tweet saying something. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
So, with all you're doing, with all you've done, why is now the right time for Leroy Sanchez to release his own original music?
Well, it's finally a time, because it's just everything has a line, finally. Everything is in place, and everything is ready to put music out. I've been doing music for a long time. I mean, I've been in the States for about 6 years now. I'm from Spain originally.
Yeah.
And I've been writing since day one, since I landed here. And I've been with labels and I've been with other, companies and stuff. But things kind of haven't worked out the right way in order to put music out. And now finally it has, which I'm very, very excited about. And very pumped to put some music out.
Would you have done it any other way? Or, since you're putting out the original stuff now and people know you so much from the covers, do you feel like, in a sense, you're starting over? Or do you think this is the covers and fan base has only helped you?
I mean, definitely covers and fan base has only helped me, but I always knew that putting original stuff out, it's like starting from zero. It doesn't matter if I would have done it now or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I get it because again, when you do covers, people know the songs and they are expecting you to do a version.
Right.
When you put yourself out there as an artist, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
And that's that's the tricky part, I think, with people that do covers as well, is like, how do you transition from working on covers to like getting yourself out there as an artist, and how are people going to react to it?
Right.
And I'm just very excited. I should be nervous, and I am a little bit, but I think I'm just way more excited to put it out because I've been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
To let that part of me out there and be like, hey, I'm not just a cover artist. Actually, I have been writing for way long before,
I think I saw, I think it was a video interview you did or something, and you said that you didn't really like to write about love. So if that's the case, or I don't know if you want to take that back.
Long ago.
Yeah. So are there going to be other topics on this? What can we expect?
Just kind of everything. I mean, obviously, there's going to be love songs because that's just the way it is, and sometimes you got to write about it.
Right.
But I also don't like to keep it narrow to that. There's other things in life. I mean, obviously, there's going to be songs about just being confident or being just stuck in a bad place or just life in general. You don't necessarily need to write about love, just love, or you can write about stories. I had songs talking about, my song Little Dancer is just about this dream or this like thing inside of us that wants to, dream big. Or I had another song that never came out, but it was called Kids from the Wild. It was kind of like this energy and this like explosion inside of us that sometimes is kept in there but just want to explode,
Yeah.
So
I love that. Is there any secrets you could fill us in on? Is Tinashe going to be on the album? What about like Becky G? Aren't you tight with her? Who's going to be on this thing? Anyone?
Well, I mean, it's my first project right now, and it'll be an EP, so it's 5 songs. There's not a whole lot of room for surprises, I guess. But I'm trying. I'm trying to get a little surprise going. I won't say anything yet because it's not official, but
you are tight-lipped.
I know I am. But I just don't want to give false hopes to anybody.
I get it. You're probably wishing that it happens as well, so you don't want to jinx yourself. Going back to Becky G, do you still keep in touch with her? I saw something. Did you have like a full performance with her or whatever? It was great.
Yeah, it was an iHeart performance, and she just reached out and she was like, "Hey, I would love to have you in my show. Just play a couple songs with me." I was like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah.
And yeah, I jumped with her and we sang a couple songs. I was playing guitar and it was a lot of fun.
I guess before we wrap up, man, I love your story. I love everything you've accomplished.
Thank you.
Your parents were not involved in the entertainment industry by any means.
No.
And then you came along and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to be a singer and I'm not only going to be a singer, but I'm going to make the majority of my money off this platform called YouTube." And that's what I'm doing. What was that conversation like?
Well, it was it was quite interesting. When I told my parents, I do remember this conversation very clearly, and it was when I was about to exit high school and keep doing my studies, and my parents asked me, "Well, what do you want to do?" Like, "Well, do you really want me to tell you what I want to do with my?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. What do you want to do?" "Well, I really want to be a singer." And I mean, you can imagine their face.
Sure.
They're like, "Well, don't you think that you should go to school and get a degree and do all this and that?" I was like, yeah, but I really want to do this. And they're like, "It's okay if it's your hobby and it's your passion, but you got to make sure that you always go to school when you get your stuff." And that's what I did. I kept going to school as long as I could.
Yeah.
And I tried to get all my degrees, but their concern was there. And I try to keep a balance between my studies and my passion. And then one day it just happened. YouTube just kind of came along and it blew up, and it brought me to where I am today.
So what do you think was can you remember the pivotal moment where they were like, you knew they understood what was going on and that you were going to be okay pursuing this? Do you know what moment that was?
Well, yeah, that was the moment when I got the call from Jim Johnson, which is the producer that flew me from Spain to Miami. He's the one that pretty much opened the doors for me into the music industry. And that moment, that's when I explained to them, this is, obviously it was hard to believe, but this guy is calling me. He's from Miami. He's got Grammys. He's worked with Beyonce. And they're like, wow. All this is from YouTube. Like my parents don't even know. I mean, now they do, but they didn't know what YouTube.
But they know Beyonce. They were like, Leroy, go. You need to go to Miami.
And that's when they understood, like, whoa, this actually could, this is a real opportunity. So.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking out the time. Everybody here is rooting for you. The EP is going to be phenomenal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.